You lose Kyle Tucker, you lose Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez hasn't played, Spencer Arrighetti breaks his thumb while standing around in the outfield. Like, what? Insane. Ronel Blanco done for the season, and Wade and Wesneski. And, like, what? Here they are, like, again? If you're a Yankees fan looking at the Astros, you're like, how in the world do they lose everybody all the time and are always winning the division and always around?
The Astros last night stayed up until about 11, and I was like, okay, I'm done. The rest of this is just going to be extra runs, and that's what they did. Dubon with a home run, Caratini with a home run. José Altuve had the big home run that kind of broke it open at 5-1. You felt like there wasn't going to be a comeback for the A's. Astros win 11-4, and 3 more hits for José Altuve, 3 more hits for Jeremy Peña. Altuve, as I mentioned, had a home run. Jeremy Peña's hitting .321. José Altuve, after a really slow start, is hitting .277. In Altuve's last 30 games, the last 30 days, that's 100 at-bats. He's hitting .350 with an OPS of 1,010. He's got 8 home runs on top of it, and just 12 strikeouts in 100 at-bats, and that's not bad for him. It's one every 8 at-bats. So with 6, and obviously he's not going to walk a whole lot. That's not his thing. He had 5 walks. But, man, I just feel like, John and I talk about this a lot. Yordan Alvarez is not here, has not been here for a while, and really wasn't the same Yordan the whole season anyway. But the way that I'm gonna bring it. We've talked about Paredes, but I want to talk about 3 guys right now. The way that Jeremy Peña, José Altuve, and now Cam Smith are playing. Cam Smith with another was it 2-hit or 3-hit game yesterday for him? I think it was 2 for Cam yesterday.
Can I throw an honorable mention in there?
Yeah, who's an
How
honorable
about Jake
mention?
Myers?
Yeah.
My boy hitting 300.
I mean, Jake
300.
Jake another 3 hits. Astros had 20 hits yesterday.
300 for a dude that was not even a hitter, let alone a good hitter.
He's been bad his whole career with the Astros as a hitter.
Like, he is legit right now.
And the sample size is pretty expansive.
And I put this on X the other day, like, has Jake Myers turned the corner? And I'm not saying he has or hasn't, but I mean, you can at least have that conversation now. In the past, it was like, are we just going to live with this dude on the roster at the bottom of the lineup? Yeah. Are we just going to live with his bad offense and great defense? Now he goes 3 for 5 batting 300. I mean, that's legit.
No, and this has been the whole year. It's not like he just got hot. Jake Myers has looked like a legitimate player. And you're right. Now the question now is, can he play?
Right.
Because is this going to be is this going to be the center fielder of the future? If he can defend, he's got a lot of range. And
he's an elite outfielder, like elite.
Really, really can defend. Yesterday, Caratini had 3 hits. Cam Smith had 3 hits. Jake Myers had 3 hits. Altuve had 3 hits. Jeremy Peña had 3 hits. I mean, Paredes was one of the only guys who didn't get a hit that was in the lineup full time. And then you have, Christian Walker got his 1 hit, which is kind of par for the course. Yainer Diaz had a couple hits. But the Astros did what they were supposed to do. They beat up on an A's team that they were supposed to beat up on. Today, you've got Colton Gordon going, who's been pretty solid in his last 3 starts. And he's going up against Jacob Lopez. He's got a 1.50 whip, an ERA at 4.8, 1-4. This should be a game where the Astros, even if Gordon struggles, the bats should still be alive, and the Astros have a great shot at taking this one as well. Right now, your Astros are 43-31. They're 12 games above the 500 mark. They have caught officially the Yankees as the second best team in the American League. The Yankees have lost 6 in a row.
They broke a 30-inning scoreless streak last night. Atrocious.
Yep. And it was bad, and they broke that streak, but they still didn't get the win. They still lost. The Astros are now 4 games behind in the AL race, and the Yankees are officially, the Yankees are officially 4.5. They're chasing the Detroit Tigers. A.J. Hinch's Detroit Tiger team is 47-27. But the Astros, I mean, the Astros went past the Yankees. The Yankees, it just seems like, and this is so great because the Yankees, we know, they're going to buy whatever they need to buy. And they're not as bad as they were in the past. They're not quite to the Dodger standard yet. They've tried to have some more homegrown because they know that's the best way to make it a sustainable product. I just love the fact that the Yankees, every year, it's the same thing from the Yankees. Every year, there's all this hype. Every year, Aaron Judge comes out with a historical season, and certainly beginning of a season, and the numbers look incredible. And every year, there's disappointment for the Yankees. And as someone who's an Astros fan lifelong, I just love the fact that the Yankees can never get over the hump. And right now, there's nothing better than a 6-game losing streak where they got shut out 3 straight games, and Aaron Judge was getting booed at home by his own fans.
Listen, dude, if you want to be Aaron Judge, you can't allow 6-game losing streaks to happen. But on the flip side, look at what the Astros have done. The Astros, it's that age-old phrase that they're inevitable. You lose Kyle Tucker, you lose Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez hasn't played, Spencer Arrighetti breaks his thumb while standing around in the outfield. What insane. Ronel Blanco done for the season, and Wade and Wesneski. And what? Here they are again? If you're a Yankees fan looking at the Astros, you're like, how in the world do they lose everybody all the time and are always winning the division and always around?
And it used to be that the Astros had health on their side. You would always have Carlos Correa was out with broken ribs, and you would have something. Altuve had a little stint where he had his knee issue. You would have a thing here or there. Lance McCullers was always getting hurt. But then we started seeing it more en masse over the last 2-3 years. And, of course, we're actually going back to 20 during the COVID bubble year where Justin Verlander was lost for that year and the next year. And, Lance McCullers was lost for a couple of years. But it wasn't as bad. Now it's well, we know all the pitchers. You mentioned all the pitchers. And now it's, Yordan has every year there's something going on with Yordan, and this one's been an extended loss. But this season would have been a disappointing season. You could not have survived if things were going as expected. And Jeremy Peña was kind of a middling shortstop, and Jake Myers is terrible, and you're flipping him and Dubon back and forth, and Chas McCormick, who's out right now anyway. But if the center field position had played out like you thought it was going to, had Jeremy Peña been the player that we saw last year, which was better than the year before, but not what he needed to be. Had Isaac Paredes not come in and given you a big burst of power there when you really needed it. There was a lot. Cam Smith not come in and had, Cam Smith's one of those guys as a rookie. He was a heralded rookie, so you never knew what you were getting with Cam Smith. But you were losing Kyle Tucker. You're not going to, no matter how good Cam Smith plays, you're not making up Kyle Tucker's numbers, except for the fact that Kyle Tucker was hurt for a chunk of last year.
And irrelevant in the playoffs.
The Astros were supposed to be about an 85-win season this year, 85-win team. But the difference is that Hunter's Hunter, Fromber's Fromber, expected. You had the issues to Ronel. Ronel was kind of a question mark about what kind of player he was going to be this year anyway. But you've had guys stepping up like Colton Gordon, like Walton the other day. You have just nobody stepping up at pitcher. Well, supposed nobody stepping up at pitcher. You've got a relatively new bullpen that's doing their job. But the difference has been this is elite Jeremy Peña right now. His defensive play in the hole in the 5th inning, if you haven't seen it, where he goes and backhands it, it's a Carlos Correa play. He goes and backhands it, jumps, and throws it across his body to get the runner was incredible. So his season, Jake Myers, they're way above the line of what was expected of them. And with Jeremy Peña, I'm very hopeful that this is who he's going to be because this is what he showed as a rookie. So I'm hoping Jeremy Peña has turned the corner, and this is who Jeremy Peña is going to be. Cam Smith gives me tremendous hope that he will, as the season progresses, he will continue, to be a run producer and potentially more of a power hitter. There's a lot of reasons to be excited that this thing can continue on in the path that it's on. A lot of reasons.
Why wouldn't you think so? They've done it every single year, no matter who. They've lost seemingly the face of their franchise outside of Jose every year, depending on who it is. But I don't think you can give enough credit to Dana Brown and Joe Espada. This time last year, they were 9 games back. They were 34-40. Every time Joe Espada went to the bullpen, it was an absolute disaster. And it's not because Josh Hader wasn't any good last year to start the season. Brian Abreu exploded. Ryan Presley was a damn mess.
Right.
So he was doing his job, but no one else was doing their job. And it all imploded all at once, which is why they had the historically bad start. So to keep his cool throughout the regular season, now they got exhausted by the time they got to the playoffs. They were dead beat tired. They had no chance to beat the Tigers, and we saw that, but they still won the division. They come out this year, they have the injury situation, but that culture is still ingrained in that clubhouse and the organization all the way down to Sugarland. So these guys come up, they perform, and they keep growing talent. They keep performing and get like these guys don't. Fans get so frustrated. It's like, after year 2, he's a bust, or after year 3, he's a Hall of Fame. Like, man, there's a lot of life in this game. There's a lot of way to go for these guys to figure it out or to fall or whatever it might be. But to be where they are without Alex Bregman, without Kyle Tucker mainly, and to be that much better than they were last year, they're not like just relevant. They're winning the division by a mile right now.
We were talking at this time. We were wondering if there was a potential trade like the other way. Was this going to be the first time the Astros trade a player out? Now, we know that happened with Kyle Tucker. And I was talking about Kyle Tucker getting traded last year at this time, because if you're going to head in the same direction, you had to move Kyle Tucker so you could get something in return. And they did that in the offseason. They knew they had to do that. But, they brought in – they started turning the corner. They brought in Kikuchi. He pitched pretty well.
Great move.
Yeah,
by
he pitched
Dana.
pretty well. He was a rental, but he pitched pretty well. You didn't give up too much, it doesn't look like, from a minor league standpoint. But now, I mean,
all the guys you gave up are in the minors.
But you're under the radar now. The Astros, no one was talking about them before the season. Nobody was talking about the Astros before the season. Nobody is talking about them even right now. Not really. Not really. This isn't the exciting team for everyone. They've got Astros fatigue. It's like the Chiefs. You got Astros fatigue. Talk about them all the time.
It's not it's not even your grandfathers. It's not your older brother's Astros.
Right.
It's not the long list of offensive lineup. It's just not. Right now they're performing. They have 24 runs last 2 games, but against the Athletics, that's going to come and go. They're not an offensive juggernaut. But when they get to the playoffs, this team is dangerous because they have the 1-2. You have Hunter Brown, Framber Valdez, your 1-2, and then whoever is your 3 at that point just has to be good enough, and you have a deep enough bullpen so that way you can win games there. I'm more concerned about them getting through the regular season with these injuries and having to play a 5-6 man rotation than I am in them in the playoffs.
Well, can they withstand? Can the rotation withstand? These guys are minor league pitchers who are pitching in the bigs, and maybe they're borderline big league pitchers, but it could go sideways on them in a hurry.
Just wait till there's tape.
Yeah, one more injury to Altuve or Jeremy Peña could be, really. So you have a lot less margin for error right now. That's what's kind of crazy to me is you don't have a lot of margin. You have no margin for error, really, to be honest with you. You don't have your big power hitter in the middle of the lineup. You don't have legit starting pitching, like Astros caliber starting pitching beyond number 2. And yet here they are doing this. It's like the margin for error hasn't even come into play because they have players playing above. So it's a win over the A's, and I get it. And you're in Sacramento and all that stuff. I get it. But it's still every day that passes that they have games like they had yesterday, which Framber was okay. He got his 8th win. But Framber's on pace right now for, he's on pace for about a 21 season. José Altuve right now is on pace for about 28 home runs. I mean, Jeremy Peña could be comeback player of the year. Cam Smith is now in the discussion for rookie of the year. The way he's playing, he's going to start getting into the discussion for, rookie of the year because he's really coming along. Just an incredible, as you mentioned, inevitable. That's what the Astros have been in the past. But until they prove otherwise, I mean, you kind of you're stuck saying the same thing. The inevitable Astros.